What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Heat Check podcast. After an exciting span of week 2 games, we get to see week 3 come around. Thursday night football probably wasn't at all entertaining. We are watching this we're filming this before we watch the game because this is being filmed on Thursday. But I'm sure the Panthers blew the Texans out of the water. That could be a bad take. It shouldn't be a crazy one. But yeah, hopefully the rest of the week will be better than Texans versus Panthers, because if it's not, then that's scary. We got a lot to talk about going into this week, but let's flash back to last week. QBs were put to a clinic. Tyrod, Baker, Dalton, Tua, all dealing with injuries, and I think Tua is definitely the biggest loss here because Miami looked horrible beforehand and after Tua got hurt. I mean, they didn't look too bad. They looked like they would be able to get something going, but after Tua got out, it didn't look like he was going to be doing anything besides sitting. At first, I thought it was a leg injury. Then it became a rib injury. Now it's week to week. This type of stuff lingers. How much do you think Tua's loss will be against Miami?
It's not going to be the craziest loss because Tua has never been really that impressive to me. But Jacoby Brissett is a step down from Tua for sure. Jacoby Brissett can get it done if he has the team around him to kind of pull him through the game. If the game script is right, he can win a few games. But with this Dolphins team, it just doesn't seem enough. It doesn't seem to be enough for me to string together multiple wins until Tua can come back.
And, while you do see a lot of guys dealing with rough, I feel bad for Tyrod Taylor because the Texans have looked good while he has been the quarterback. Brandon Cooks has played phenomenal. Fantasy-wise, Brandon Cooks has been an absolute stud. But without Tyrod Taylor, I'm not even fucking starting Brandon Cooks. I'm sorry to say that. If you're a big Brandon Cooks guy, Davis Mills isn't the guy I'm going to trust throwing to him with your fantasy team. So Tyrod, that sucks. Baker, thank God he's all right. Dalton, on the other hand, Bears fans probably aren't too sad to see that Andy Dalton is coming out because Justin Fields is going to be getting his first career start this week. While we don't want to wish injury on anybody, it is great to see Justin Fields finally being held accountable fully. He had a little bit of taste of the NFL last week, but he's starting. Defenses are game planning around Justin Fields. I think he won't do too bad. What about you? How do you think Fields is going to fare out in his first start?
Before I get into Fields, I'd like to touch on Davis Mills. The Tyrod Taylor effect we have seen before. He was in front of Baker Mayfield. He was in front of Justin Herbert. So maybe Davis Mills can be an effect of Tyrod Taylor.
Both of those guys were first-round picks. Davis Mills wasn't even close to the first round.
Hey, I'm just saying the Tyrod Taylor effect is real. We could see it come into play tonight. I mean, maybe they upset the Panthers. Who knows? But Justin Fields. Let's get to Justin Fields. Justin Fields has not been impressive to me. The Bears ended up trading up to get him, so they must have seen something they liked in him. And obviously, he hasn't been performing in practice if he didn't get the nod over Andy Dalton. But he's getting his chance now that Dalton's injured, so we're going to see what he's going to do. He is going to be a deep ball thrower. I think he takes too many risks, but, I mean, that's just the type of player he is. He's going to be getting out of the pocket, throwing some deep balls. You got the weapons to do it, but you got to be smart with the football. You can't turn it over like you've been doing.
You want to talk about taking risk? How about Zach Wilson and his 4 interceptions? Buddy, these 2 QBs at the top of the draft have been sucking. I mean, Trevor Lawrence didn't look as bad this past week, but he didn't play good. He still had 2 interceptions. Zach Wilson is bad. It's weird seeing these top QBs do bad because this is such a good quarterback class. So I really hope stuff like that pans out. Trey Lance is also another guy I would like to see get playing time soon because I don't think, while San Francisco has looked good in some parts with Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't think this offense or this team is going to get going anytime soon until Trey Lance and that rushing upside comes in, because it seems like Trey Lance is the healthiest back or running threat that they've got outside of, JaMychal Hasty? Elijah Mitchell, now he's questionable. We don't know. So these rookie quarterbacks are definitely going to be the main story throughout this entire season because there's just so much talent behind it. So we'll see how Fields rounds out in this upcoming week. And by the way, Broncos and Raiders are 2-0. I mean, this is shocking to me. We all know Broncos were going to have a good offense, but we didn't think Teddy Bridgewater would look this good. But he has played 2 great weeks of football with the Broncos. And same thing with Derek Carr. As of right now, Derek Carr looks like an MVP favorite right there next to Kyler Murray. Not saying that he will be that, but he's played like it. Do you think the Broncos and Raiders will be able to translate somewhat this type of success throughout the season? Maybe we could see the Broncos end up pulling up a great season. Raiders, on the other hand, Teams are going to adjust, in my opinion, but Broncos are the team that I think should be looked out for. What about you?
I think the Broncos have the team to do it. They have a great defense. If Teddy can be consistent, I mean, they've got a shot, man. They have faced some easy teams. They have definitely the first three easiest games that there is for anyone. They got the Jets this week. That should be another easy win. So they're going to advance to 3-0 most likely. It's just a confidence boost for Teddy Bridgewater, and that's what you need. That's what's going to bring you success throughout the entire season. If Teddy Bridgewater's throwing the ball with confidence, you got that stacked secondary on the other side. I mean, the Broncos are going to have success, but their division is tough. They could get it done though. The Raiders, on the other hand, I like what they're doing right now. I think John Gruden is due for a good season, considering how much they paid him. He just hasn't been impressive at all so far. But John Gruden, maybe he's finally motivated. I like the Raiders though. I think they can do. I think they'll do better than the Broncos. Out of those two teams, if I had to pick one, I think I'd pick the Raiders.
Wow. Yeah, I definitely think the Broncos are, I would say, a better roster overall because while the Broncos have played good, and you might say the Raiders look like they played better because the Raiders have the better quarterback in Derek Carr. In my opinion, once they is going to be fantastic over these next couple of weeks. Once Jerry Jeudy comes back, I think Judy's going to end up being the wide receiver one, but we'll save that for later on in the season. Let's get into some of these performances, starting off with our offensive player of the week. You have him. I have him. I know there's no way in hell you don't have him. It's Derrick Henry. 35 carries, 182 rushing yards, 55 receiving yards, and 3 rushing touchdowns. Guys, if you watch my fantasy episode pick, I called it. I told you Derrick Henry was going to be the guy to watch. He's going to be the X factor, and he was the X factor. He played fantastic. And yeah, a lot of guys out there were riding high on Derrick Henry. If you thought that rushing game was going to be going away for the Titans just because Julio came in, yeah, you're wrong. That just means Julio just adds even more to that offense. Which, by the way, if you're scared about AJ Brown, don't be. He had a lot of big opportunities. He did drop passes, and that worries me. But he'll get it back together. That offense is just starting to get even better. It's just a well-oiled machine that I see coming together, and Derrick Henry is the biggest part of that. I'm sure you had him as the offensive player of the week.
Yeah, I mean, just a dominant performance. You talk about taking over a game and winning the game for your team. That's what Derrick Henry did. There's not much else to say. He's doing what he always does. I'm not that surprised.
Yeah, and then defensive player of the week. Also, this is a pretty easy one for me. Who the hell is Mike Edwards, and who told him to play this good? 4 tackles, 2 pick sixes, and 3 passes deflected. It's the Falcons. Like I said, they suck. Big shocker, but come on. Mike Edwards, you're out here playing like Ed Reed. He did have a fantastic game and was definitely the defensive player of the week for me. Do you have any picks outside of him?
I went with Mike Edwards. This guy, he wasn't even the starter coming into the season, and the Falcons started to creep up on the Bucks. They started to creep up, and then Mike Edwards comes down with another pick six, and the momentum just shifts completely to the Bucks again, and they run away with the game. Mike Edwards only played 54% of the defensive snaps. He came with a bat down and 2 pick sixes. I mean, you talk about impacting when you get the chance. That is what Mike Edwards did.
I would definitely expect Mike Edwards to see that snap count increased because there's no way you can do something like that and only have less than 60% of like you being on the field. Yeah, no, that's definitely going to be going up. And then overall game of the week, you picked it last week. I'll give it to you. I thought it was going to be Titans versus Seahawks, and it was a close battle. But probably one of the gutsiest calls I've ever seen performed by Baltimore to win that game, 36-35. Lamar barely scrapes away after a sloppy first half. Mahomes has an even sloppier end of the fourth quarter. Your overall takeaways from this game, does this mean more for Kansas City negatively or more for Baltimore positively?
I think it means a lot for Baltimore. I mean, Baltimore played such a great game, dominated on the ground, 6.8 yards per carry. I think over 250 team rushing yards. This is just going to be a crazy rushing offense for the rest of the year. The Chiefs defense, man, they got to get something together because they cannot stop a soul on the ground. The Ravens were bringing out running backs. They had like 5 running backs get snaps, and they all dominated. Lamar dominated, came out and won the game on a 4th and 1. He just did it. John Harbaugh, one of the gutsiest coaches. We see him do it a lot. Go for 4th and 1s, 4th and 2s with the game on the line, and this one paid off. What a win by the Ravens. And I mean, the Chiefs didn't even play that bad. Clyde Edwards-Helaire basically lost them the game. This game could have gone either way.
Yeah, I mean, Kansas City, like you said, Clyde pretty much lost in that game single-handedly. And also, if Mike Edwards hadn't returned those 2 interceptions for touchdowns, we could have been given Defensive Player of the Week to Tyrann Mathieu. Dude looked fantastic, and he really held that Kansas City secondary together. Overall, this Kansas City secondary has had a good start, but on the ground, they can't stop a soul. I mean, you got Latavius Murray. Le'Veon Bell could be coming back from the grave. I mean, you got Devonta Freeman doing great. And then, of course, the guy who came in for J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, he has looked really good. Tyrell Williams, I believe is his name. Tyson Williams. He has looked really good. Everybody has looked really good against Kansas City. So Kansas City, you got to get something going on here, because while you guys still are a good team, you could be going to the Super Bowl. No worries at all. But this rushing defense, you got to get something figured out. This better be a fluke, because Baltimore is one of the better rushing games that the league has ever seen, with a guy like Lamar behind the helm. So you do want to definitely look out for that in the future. Make sure nothing like this ever happens again. Let's get into our week 2 predictions, starting off with game of the week. I really do want to hear what you have for this one, because I feel like we're going to have the same game for this upcoming week.
This upcoming week, I have the Bucs and the Rams. I think that's an obvious one. I also think the Packers and 49ers will be a good game. But who doesn't want to see Brady versus Stafford? Stafford's got something to prove at home, SoFi Stadium. It's going to be a good game. I mean, both of these teams are on fire right now. Brady is putting up MVP numbers like I predicted him to. And you could say the same thing about Stafford. Stafford did struggle. He threw, I think, a pick or 2 in that last game. But the Rams offense has looked overall pretty good, but they're going to have a challenge this week going against the Buccaneers defense. I think it's overall going to be a great watch. I think it should have been the Sunday night game, but 4:25, everyone will be watching that. It's going to be the game of the week.
I've got it as the game of the week, too. It's easily going to be the thing to watch this upcoming week. But, yeah, a really entertaining week for football. And week 2 was great. Week 3 is going to be even better. So thank you guys for watching so much. If you like this video, hit that sub button. Notifications, make sure they're on. You want to make sure you know when we're posting the minute, the second, the millisecond that this video is up on this channel. Thank you guys for watching so much. We'll see y'all in our fantasy episode. Peace.